Safari cannot because you're not connected.
And welcome to Big Blue Breakdown. I am Michael Buckheiser alongside Chris Hill today. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Bucky. How are you, buddy?
Oh, we're doing fantastic, man. It's 10 days till football season. Can you get more excited than that?
Man, I'm okay. I am. I'm really excited. I mean, it's football season. How can you not get excited for football season? You got preseason going on in the NFL, which, yeah, I know it's
trash.
It's just preseason. I mean, but still, it's dudes in pads hitting each other over football. What's not to like about that?
So, 10 days. Are you going to watch the game, Chris?
I am.
You are?
I'm absolutely going to watch the game.
There should be no reason why we're not watching the game. I believe it is on SEC Network. I would have to check the local broadcast schedule. But what do you have? Who do you have winning?
Our opening game? Who do we have? We got, Central Michigan coming to town?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a dumb question.
I mean, yeah, it kind of is. Look, I mean, Kentucky's going to win this game. We're all of us are going to say Kentucky's going to win this game. I mean, that's our team. That's who we're pulling for. But make no mistake, this Central Michigan team is a pretty good football team. They're in the MAC? Are they in the MAC?
It sounds right. I'm not 100% sure.
And I mean, they've been in contention. I mean, yeah, it's the MAC, but still, they've been in contention in the MAC for the past few years now. I don't think they've lost a lot of players. Their coaching staff is always pretty solid. I mean, I am also a Michigan fan, and I know Michigan has played them quite a bit the past couple of years. And
yeah.
They've usually, first half team, they give us a pretty good run for our money. But I see us maybe struggling a little bit, but that's only to get those jitters out of the way and get on the same page. Yeah, we've had weeks and weeks and days of practice, but, I mean, that's practice. You can't
talk about practice?
Yeah, I mean, you can
talk about practice?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm going to go Herm Edwards on you. We're talking about practice, but you can't. You can try as hard as you can to simulate a football game, but it's just nothing like real deal.
Yeah,
crowd noise, packed stadium.
I agree here. So I'm looking at the over unders here just for betting wise and stuff like that. Central Michigan did go 8-5 last year,
yes,
and they were 7-6 in their conference. It doesn't tell me what conference they are, but I believe it was the MAC. It sounds right, and they're in that area where Mid Atlantic is, obviously. But Kentucky is a 17-point favorite, but the predicted score is 23-24. So if you are betting over under, Kentucky has to win by 17.5 points to cover the spread.
Right.
So if you are a betting man,
oh no,
17 point spread. Okay, so this is 10 days before the game, obviously, and I'm sure it will change once Kentucky names their starting quarterback and all that good stuff. We'll get into that later in the show. But as of today, 8:22, 10 days before kickoff on September 1st, Kentucky is a 17-point favorite. Who do you have with the over-under?
I don't think they should be a 17-point favorite. 14 points I'm more comfortable with, not 17. I don't understand how they could be a 17-point favorite and still the projected score be 24-23.
Yeah, that's
asinine.
Yeah.
But I would be more comfortable with it being 14. I see us winning this game by at least 10, maybe more. It depends, man. I mean, this could be one of those games that we come out first half, flop on our face, and be down 14 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody write the show and say, hey, this Chris guy sucks, get him off the radio for saying that. But, I mean, it could happen. It very well could happen. This is an extremely young team. Like we were talking earlier, we have one senior.
So starting we have
on the offense.
Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the offensive side, and on the defensive side, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe 6, 7. So
Yeah.
these are our defense is definitely the veterans of the
Right.
So we have there's
so you could say
7 and 4, and then 4 sophomores.
You could say safely that our average starting position would be a sophomore, maybe the average.
Yeah, I mean,
so this is a very young
basically starting from what the depth chart has right now. It's either you're a sophomore or a senior. Right. Basically, what it comes down to. There are a couple juniors. You know, they have Snell in the backfield, like he's a junior, obviously, and then a couple of the left side of the lines are juniors. But other than that, sophomores are seniors. So
if you think Snell has a really good year, I mean, just a breakout, awesome year, leads the SEC in rushing yards, rushing touchdowns.
He is the self-proclaimed greatest back in the world, or sorry, the planet. I should say, the planet.
Yeah, I remember that discussion. I see him as the greatest running back in the SEC. No. Look, the Kentucky fan in me says that, but the realist in me, there's probably a couple backs down there in Tuscaloosa that have something to say about that.
The third string back is probably better than he is at Alabama.
Probably. But then again, I mean, you look at Alabama's offensive line, and they're like the Dallas Cowboys. You look at our offensive line, we're like the Cleveland Browns. I mean,
so were you asking if Snell has a breakout year, leads SEC, he goes to the pros?
Do you think he gets drafted?
Probably
so.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm a Kansas State fan, you know, and I'm married into a UK fan here. So you
have to love the Cats.
Yeah, like I enjoy rooting for a winner now, not a mediocre team.
Right.
But the team that led the Big 12 in NFL draft picks was not always the best team.
Mm-hmm.
It was your Kansas, your Iowa States, your Baylor's.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if Snell has a solid season, say if he's even second or third in the SEC, because air quotes here, SEC is the best football conference in America. Air quotes.
Yeah.
But so by default, he would be the best third back, or the third best back in the country.
Right.
So would he be a first round pick? I don't know, because I didn't get to watch a lot of UK football last year. So like I don't know how his year was last year, but moving forward, like if he has a solid year this year, you know, has 1,500 yards, you know, 12, 15, 16 scores, there should be no reason why he's not a second, maybe early third round pick.
I could see that happen.
So, but then the question arises: does he hold out for a senior campaign and try to jump into the first round?
I don't see him doing that. The only way that I could see him coming back for his senior year, God forbid this happens, and please nobody hate me for saying this, but as if
bearing injury.
If he gets injured, possibly it could happen.
It depends when he gets injured.
Right.
Say he tweaks a hamstring first game, you know, first quarter, second quarter, whatever, and then he's out for week 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then he comes back and then has a solid, you know, final 4 or 5 games of the year. Then I feel he would go into the draft as well. I mean, it's just the timing of that injury if that were to happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously we don't predict or wish anybody to get hurt by any means, but
I don't see us having any problem taking care of Central Michigan. I mean, yes, it's a home game that makes me feel a lot better about it, but
so I mean, see.
That 17-point thing, man, that kills me.
So it started out at 20 points, and then in the last, I don't know, it looks like, I guess it doesn't give me the dates here, but it started out as 20 points, and then it dropped down to 17. So that tells me that Vegas is wanting you to pick Central Michigan.
Yep, everybody wants to
that
pick
they are
underdog.
wanting you to place that money on Central Michigan. And the betting man in me would definitely pick Central Michigan because, you know, the predicted scores, they have 23.2 to 24.2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how they figure out 0.2.
Yeah, I don't know that either.
But so they predicted a 1-point game. But they're giving Central Michigan 17 points.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells me that
they can't make their mind up.
Well, I mean, they want you to pick Central Michigan.
Right.
Like they want you to pick them, and 92% of people that have betted on this game so far has picked Kentucky. So, if you're giving me 17 points, if I'm a Central Michigan fan, I got to go Kentucky.
I got to under 17 points.
Yeah.
Under.
So my bold prediction 10 days out before we even name a starting quarterback, which we'll get that later, but I'm predicting Kentucky will beat them by at least 18 points to cover the spread.
Think so?
I hope so.
We're gonna you want a gentleman bet that one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say, it's going to be like a 44-18.
Yeah. Well, Snell breaks out, I could see it happening.
So this is with the spread. So who do you got with the spread? So Central Michigan plus 17 points. So they're starting off 17-0. Who do you got?
I'm going to say Kentucky 35-21.
So you have Central Michigan winning with the spread.
With the spread, yeah. I don't know, man. That's one of them teams, man. They're just so iffy. I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I knew didn't they beat Michigan State last year, Central Michigan?
Yeah, but that's not really saying much. I mean, Michigan State they're still kind of rebuilding.
But they're still a Power 5 conference team.
They are. Yes, they are.
And yeah.
They did beat Michigan last year.
Michigan State did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and Michigan was in the top couple of the Big Ten?
Yes.
Like they were
we finished.
It was like Northwestern, then Ohio State, and then Michigan, right?
Yeah. Ugh. I hate hearing that name.
Ooh, Ohio State.
I hate it, man.
Ohio State.
I hate it so bad.
Ohio State.
No.
So if you guys are interested, tomorrow on RTF Sports Talk, we're actually going to talk a little overrated, underrated on Ohio State Urban Meyer, if he's overrated, underrated. So if you guys are interested in that, tune in tomorrow at 9:45 on YouTube Live.
I'm super interested in that.
So yeah, definitely tune in, man. So let me get your thoughts on that, since you quibble that Ohio State name. Man. Is Urban Meyer an overrated coach?
No.
No.
He's not an overrated coach.
Oh, okay.
He's an exceptional college football coach. I mean, look at what he did at Florida. Look at what he's done at that rag-ass school that's in Ohio.
Is that Ohio State the Ohio State?
Mike, come on, man. I mean, yeah, I'm not – I would never, ever root for that school. That could be the last school to have a Division I college football team, and I still would not root for him. But the man can coach. He is a gifted football coach. I mean, a lot of people probably can't stand Nick Saban. But, I mean, look at what the guy's done. I mean, he's an exceptional football coach. Now, what he has going on now in his personal life and
it has nothing to do with his personal life.
I mean, he did not make the right decision, clearly. That's why all this stuff is coming to fruition, and he's probably going to lose his job. Well, I don't know if he's going to lose his job because, I mean, Ohio State, they don't care if you come in an orange jumpsuit or not. They don't care. They'll try to find a way to cover it up or pay someone off to make it go away.
That's why the trustees are meeting right now as we speak, actually.
Pretty much. So. But, no, I think he's a great football coach. I think he's always been I couldn't stand it when he was at Florida. I mean, as a fan, I hate the guy, but that's only because he always finds a way to win. Always. This guy always finds a way to win. Yeah, it's against teams that I love, but still, I mean, you cannot take it away from the man. The man knows how to coach the game.
Well, it feels like every time pressure starts to get on him, like a little bit of controversy starts happening. Like he
tries to find an out.
But he does, like, don't take this the wrong way, but Florida, when stuff started to pile up on him about the Aaron Hernandez thing, oh, my heart hurts.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
mean, like
Well, I've got medical
I am
problems.
not.
I need to step away.
I'm not questioning that, hit because like I'm no doctor. I play one on TV, but I don't practice it in real life.
Gotcha.
But but I mean, it just seemed kind of a weird coincidence when stuff started to pile in. Oh, I need to take a leave of absence because my heart. I'm worried about my health. And then what? Not even a year and a half, 2 years later, he's at the Ohio State.
Yep.
But
there are a lot of great coaches that have pulled that. I mean, look at Pete Carroll when he was at USC.
Yeah, well, he jumped ship and went to the NFL as
Immediately.
soon as
When that stuff with Reggie Bush went down, he immediately jumped ship.
Well,
knew what was going to happen.
He jumped ship before everybody else knew, so he knew shit was about to go down. So he's like,
right. He could feel the NCAA
yeah.
breathing down their neck, and rightfully so. But the guy jumped ship, went to Seattle, and did something that not a lot of coaches that coach at the collegiate level that jump to the NFL can do. This guy won a Super Bowl. I mean, in his first 3 or 4 years at Seattle, won a Super Bowl.
yeah. I believe it was the fastest coach to win a Super Bowl in his first 10 years.
Right.
It was something
To win a national title in collegiate Division I ball and a Super Bowl in successive years or something.
Yeah,
like that.
it was something weird. But that was not Pete Carroll's first rodeo in the NFL, obviously.
Right.
Man, I hate to say it, like he might be on his way back to the college level if he keeps
think
up.
so?
If he keeps this
You think
crap
he's gonna,
up with,
he's going to pull a Chip Kelly.
well, I don't know, man. Like he is making all of his talent mad, and they aren't signing anybody. So,
Man, I know this is totally off.
yeah,
the
we're
record,
kind of getting down that rabbit hole.
but that Hicks kid from Central Florida or South Florida,
I'm not ringing a bell here.
he's only got one on one hand.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that guy, beast.
Yeah. Didn't he run like a 4.5 40 in his linebacker?
Yeah, and has already had like 12 interceptions.
Wasn't he from UCF?
Yeah,
Central
Florida.
Florida,
Yeah, and he's had like 12 interceptions in practice.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, this dude, I'm kind of excited to see.
Yeah,
I'm not even a Seattle fan, but I want to see how this kid plays, man.
Since you guys are watching us on YouTube live here, go out and check that guy doing a bench press. Like his dad made some type of foam hand for him to do a bench press, and it's unreal to me.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That guy can bench more with one arm than I can with both of my
Well,
legs. and both arms.
he's doing two, but like he has some like block extension to pad it because like he just has a nub type thing. So
is it like a Hulk hand almost?
yeah, I mean kind of, I guess, but like it's like some like wood block he has and it's like padded.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So look up Hicks bench press or something like that.
Yeah, it's like Shaquem Hicks. I think
Yeah, and I think his brother plays for
Seattle.
yeah. So they're. I mean, as a parent, like, how would that make you feel? Like both your kids are playing on the same NFL team.
I'd be pretty proud.
Yeah, that'd be pretty freaking cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, my boys could play t-ball, and I'd still be pretty proud.
Yeah, I mean, definitely like seeing your kids achieve at anything is
Absolutely.
really exciting. But
all right, man. I think we need to get back to Kentucky football.
Back to Kentucky football. Yeah. Well, this is the Big Blue Breakdown, and if you guys are listening to us on YouTube Live tonight, go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe below. If you're listening to this on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Podcast, Breaker, Public Radio, Stitcher, etc., be sure to like it, follow it, and leave a 5-star ranking, or Mr. Chris Hill knows people.
That's right. I know people that happen to know more people
that would ask you politely to give us 5-star rankings.
That's right. That would come to your house and knock on your door and please ask you politely to give us a 5-star.
Yeah, I mean,
just like it, love it, share it.
Yeah.
Come on, you guys. The more you like it, love it, and share it, the more we will do, and the better it's going to get.
So, just a little insights here. Myself being the quote-unquote producer of the show, doing all the back office stuff, like I do all the images that you see in camera. Like I usually work off camera, but like I like doing behind the scenes stuff. But if we get a certain amount of followers and viewers, the local radio station's interested in bringing up on another local Kentucky show.
That would be cool.
So
let's make that happen, people.
If you
My
guys
birthday
can like
is
it,
in less than a month, you guys. So let's
birthday.
Let's make that happen. I
you.
need an awesome birthday present, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, it just help us out by liking it. share it with 2 of your friends. I mean,
Right.
like it'll grow.
Because they tell 2 people, and they tell 2 friends.
And then you get to that friend that doesn't have any friends,
Yeah,
and we're
and there
screwed.
you go. You meet that one emo kid that has no friends.
All right, back to football. 10 days away. Let's look at the depth chart here. The depth chart.
Yeah, let's do that.
So, I am on ourlads.com. They are, I guess they specialize in making depth charts or something like that. Like, I'm not for sure exactly how they got this, but they have head football coach Mark Stoops, offensive scheme air raid. So that tells me they're going to try to open up the field this like
They're going to spread it out.
Yeah, spread it out this year. So as of right now, they have Gunnar Hoke starting with Terry Wilson backup.
Now, is that official? Have we officially named?
I haven't heard anything.
I don't think we have.
I haven't heard anything, but it is 10 days away. And being a football coach myself, you had that chart up on the locker room saying, "Hey, you're running with 1s today. You're running with 2s."
Mm-hmm.
So, for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I've seen Gunnar Hoke at that number 1 spot of every time I've pulled this up. Now, are they up? Is the site updating it? I don't know. I'd assume. It's being updated
Daily.
I wouldn't say daily, but
See, I've been catching, here or there between work and
Mm-hmm.
and other stuff. I've been catching, videos of practice here and out of there, here and in between. And
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Gunner running with the 1s. I've seen a lot of Terry running with the 1s. So I couldn't tell you who's what. I mean, there are moments that I swear you could sit here and watch one tape and it be Gunner, and then watch the other one and it be Terry, and you cannot tell the difference. I mean, both these guys I think they're locked in a pretty tight quarterback battle, and I think that's maybe the reason why we haven't been told who the starting quarterback is. I don't know. I'm not a coach, so I couldn't tell you. But as a fan, it would be nice to know who we need to start rooting for.
Well, since it is the first game of the year and we're supposed to quote-unquote beat Central Michigan pretty handily, maybe they'll do Hunter Hoke for first half. Terry Wilson second half. Just see who performs better. Because when you perform under the lights, it's like
completely different.
Yeah, it's completely different than practice. I mean, you could be the best practice player in the world, but the minute you line up against a different colored jersey, your butthole gets puckered up, and you're like, "Oh my god!"
And it's over.
And it's so you don't know exactly.
Speaking
what's going on.
of over unders, what do you think the over under is on how many nicknames this Terry kid's going to get this year? I mean, he's already got Terry touchdown.
Is that the only one that he has so far?
That's the only one I've heard.
I mean, we could be Terry Benchwarmer come week 3.
Yeah, didn't think about that one.
Terry Waterboy.
Terry Towelboy. Something like that. Terry, go get my drink.
I would say
Terry, you're in the way.
Just Terry touchdown.
Just Terry touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, because he is a
TT.
transfer from Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if, say, Gunnar Hoke is a starter come game 1, if I feel he is on a short leash. I mean, he stumbled, even if we win big, but Gunnar Hoke just plays bad. He completes 8 out of 25 passes, a couple interceptions or something like that, but we still win big. I think he gets yanked, and then Terry, Terry's in there.
I mean, I think it's his job safely, Gunners, and I only say that because he has been with this coaching staff and this team longer than Terry has. So, and I mean,
did he start last year? I mean, I know he played a lot.
He played,
but did he ever start?
I don't believe so. No, don't quote me on that.
Yeah,
but I don't believe he did. But still, he's been in this system long enough to know he should know this playbook back to front. Should, and I hope he does. I see him being the starter, but then again, like you said, maybe he comes in, starts first half, and depending on what his stats are that first half, how good he controls that offense and plays that game, I mean, then they could bring in Terry the second half. I mean, you're never really going to know who's the better field general till you get them both out there in a game situation.
I mean, the film don't lie during the game,
right?
Like I said, you can we have a couple of kids on my high school team that are phenomenal practice players. Like, if you would just base their film like off of practice, they could be at a D1 college.
Wow.
But Friday night, they put on the pads, and they were great at grabbing my water. Me and like I was thirsty. Like, here you go, coach. Here you.
That's right.
But just looking at the stats, I mean, like Terry is 6'3", 205, and Gunner's 6'4", 206. I mean, they're both big, strong guys.
Absolutely, pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, I mean, I would say simply just because Terry is a transfer in, you got to give to Gunnar Hoke like opening day.
I agree with that. That and he has to know that offense better.
I mean, just because you know the offense better doesn't necessarily mean you know the offense.
True. I mean, yeah, Terry could have a better football IQ. I don't know that.
I mean, like I can say X receivers running a 5-yard dig, the Z route running to like a bend, and you know Y's got a
flag or a
punch whatever. But at the end of the day, if I can't get the ball down the field,
I mean, if you can't read, if you cannot read your players, then you're.
So I would like to talk about the youth of the offense here.
Okay.
So, like we said a little earlier here, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4 seniors that are projected to start the season. Dorian Baker at the X wide receiver. The right side of the line, Javonis Stallings and George Afonso. I
don't even want to try. I already know I'll butcher his name.
And then, of course, you got C.J. Conrad.
C.J. Conrad, my man.
That is your GOAT for the season, huh?
Dude, I am excited about this guy. I'm really excited about this guy. I am going to go ahead and call it now. He will lead the team in receptions and yards, and receiving yards. I'm going to call it now.
Do you, just because of the other receivers aren't that good, or because he is that good?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I'm not talking down about our wide receivers or anything, but I mean, if we are playing the quote-unquote air raid offense, which I'm assuming is a spread offense, we're probably going to run the ball a lot. But still, with a young quarterback, I don't know if you've ever played quarterback, but
no,
9 times out of 10, your check down's going to be your tight end.
Yep.
And this guy, he's 6'5", 250. He's a monster. And I don't know if you ever saw any game film of him last year, but this guy, he was a beast last year. I think with us having young quarterbacks, that is an advantage to him because he's going to be the check down 99% of the time.
So the question arises because he got hurt last year and didn't play in pretty much in December and into January.
Yeah, I think he missed like 3 games.
It says undisclosed injury, which to me it's probably something not serious. It usually when they say that, they say, "Oh, you have a sprained ankle," and we're going to tell you have a sprained ankle, but you did this, and this wrong.
Right.
You weren't going to class. You're being bad. You're getting the police calling on you. Like, do you think he's that type of guy? Like, he can't keep his nose clean.
Well, he is from Ohio,
LaGrange, Ohio, Keystone High School.
But no, I don't like to think of any of our players being like that. But
quote unquote thugs.
Thugs. Yeah. But I mean, listen, you're a D1 collegiate football player at a school that's in
an SEC school. SEC school.
I mean,
it doesn't matter who you are. SEC school.
Right. So you're kind of in the limelight already.
Right.
I mean, we could be talking Vandy. I mean, who's, I hate to say this, but they're kind of the shithole of the SEC.
They're up and coming, man.
Well, still, that pressure may get to them. I mean, think about it, man. I mean, you're young, got the world at your feet. You're on your way to becoming a pro athlete, and certain situations pop up. I mean, you're not always going to handle it the right way.
So let me piggyback on that. Like, I don't mean to cut you off, but basketball players are more grown up
Right.
Because they are in this quote unquote professional light at such a young age with
from like 10 to 12.
Yeah, like with the AAU, all the travel league, all the junior Olympics that they do, the Olympic team. When you play basketball at the age of 12, you pretty much know you're going to be the man.
Right, the ins and outs.
But as a football player, you normally don't hit your stride till your junior, senior year of high school. Now there are some exceptions where that sixth grader is going to be a beast.
Right.
You know, he's 6'5", already 240.
Like Jadeveon Clowney.
Right, yeah. But I would say your senior year of high school, you hit that stride. You're like, let's say junior year, you hit that stride. You are starting to become a Division I prospect, etc. Most football players don't sign their letter of intent until after their senior year of like high school. So when they get into college, they don't have that professional mindset yet.
Right.
They aren't. I mean, they're used to being the man, quote quote, because they're a big fish in a small pond, like in their high school. So like when they get here to a Kentucky, to a Florida, wherever, you now become a big fish in the ocean. You are just another one swimming around. So your freshman, sophomore year, you get by with doing stupid shit. Going to parties, get
cut class, things like that.
But when you become a junior and senior, NFL scouts are starting to look.
Right.
They're like, how's this guy? Like, and for some reason, like, I don't think it clicks to them that I need to treat this like a job. Tell their juniors or seniors.
Right. Now, the only players that I could see actually taking it serious and being in that mindset would be maybe someone whose dad maybe played in the NFL or
or
something like that. They were kind of brought up to do the right thing, so and so the right thing, or be that professional athlete
or a multiple sport athlete,
right?
Because you are in the spotlight for other things,
right.
Baseball, basketball.
But
tennis.
I mean, if you're anyone that's serious about what you do, sports wise, you're always going to be that professional. You're always going to treat it professionally. You're always going to take it seriously. You're not going to cut corners in any way. You're going to put in the extra effort,
right?
To be that first round draft pick, or to go to the college of your choice, or what have you. Play the position you want to play. Be a first year starter or whatever. Be that household name.
Yeah. So, getting back in the topic here, I mean, we are getting good at going down those rabbit holes, and I currently.
Maybe we should do a show that's called Going Down the Rabbit Hole.
Well, probably not.
We can call it Alice.
That would be not probably a really good name. But getting back to the depth charts here in rosters and like in general, our offense is young.
Very.
Besides those 4 or 5 seniors, they're all sophomores.
And what's crazy is like
just besides Snell.
I think yes, this is a young team, but I honestly think this is Coach Stoops' best 22 that he has ever put on the field since he has been in Kentucky. That's why I'm so excited about this football season.
You had them going.
I had them going
8-3, right, or 9-3?
9-3, I believe.
Losing to Georgia.
Losing to Georgia.
Was it South Carolina yet?
No. There's no way we're losing to South Carolina. I have us beating Florida. Remember that, people.
Yeah.
We will beat Florida. I had us losing to Georgia, Texas A&M, and my iffy game was Missouri. And I only say that because that's a home game for Missouri. I don't know why, man, but they're kind of like Mississippi State. They'll come out of nowhere one year and have an amazing year.
Mississippi State's pre-ranked 18th, by the way.
Yeah.
You guys keep talking down on them, but they're
ranked 18th. It's Mississippi State. I mean, but I don't know, man. They're just one of them teams that could come back to bite you.
Let me tell you something about Missouri. Missouri came from the Big 12. What was it, 5-6 years ago?
Yep.
How long it's been? And I'm a Kansas State fan. Obviously, I played at Kansas State. I've been a Kansas State fan since I was 9. Since I was a little baby. Every time we would go to Missouri and play, it's something about Columbia, Missouri. It is something about that place where if you escape with a 2-point win, you're counting the stars, saying thank you. I don't know because like the fans aren't that rowdy.
Right.
I mean, there's definitely rowdier places. If you guys ever been to a Kansas State game, we are rowdy.
It's not the big house.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the big house. It's not D Ohio State.
Oh God.
It is not LSU at night. You know.
Listen, man, I've been to Death Valley, and that place. I mean, you could go there for a pep rally, and that place is rowdier than any other place that you will ever go to. I promise you that. I
believe they're ranked number. So, do you remember college football 2006, NCAA 2006 to 2007? They had LSU ranked as a number 3 or number 2 loudest stadium in the college. Just a little fun fact.
Right. I think that is the only. Another fun fact. I think that is the only collegiate stadium that is actually the Richter scale that they used to measure earthquakes.
Yeah.
I think that is the only stadium that has ever measured on the Richter scale.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
You might want to Google that though. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was like a mini earthquake there in Baton Rouge one night.
Mini earthquake?
Yeah. That was back
was that the night? Was that the night the lights went out in Georgia?
Maybe. Maybe.
But anyways, back to Missouri. It's something about Columbia, Missouri that maybe it's the fact it's in the middle of the state.
Maybe.
It's a horrible drive. I mean, Columbia's a nice city.
Right. But there's just nothing until you get there.
Yeah. So I don't know if Kentucky would fly there or drive. I mean, because from here to Kansas, it's only 8 hours. So you're probably looking about a 4 or 5 hours, 6 hour top drive there,
right?
Via bus. So let's just say they drive. I mean, once you pass St. Louis, it's nothing, man.
You think that could get in your head any?
It's something about Columbia. I don't know if it's the water.
I was going to say maybe they're putting something in the water.
It's the food, but something in there makes you take example when Kentucky basketball played there in Missouri last year, and in basketball, and I can't remember I think we lost. It was part of our 3-game skid in the SEC for the first time ever.
Right.
But it's something about that city, that college, whatever. It's something. It's. I mean, it is hard to win on the road, anyways.
Right.
But there, and it's just especially hard, I think.
Oh man, maybe we should do experiments.
Yeah,
and see what's going on there.
But it's all good. So, do you have Hoke starting?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and tip the nod to Hoke, because, like I said, he should know this offense better.
He should
than Terry.
Yeah,
yeah, he should.
I'm going to guess because Terry transferred from a community college and then to Oregon.
Right.
But I'm guessing he knows how to study the playbook.
Yeah, but I mean, he could have played in maybe the similar offensive scheme at Oregon or whatever community.
I don't know. It was Garden City.
Okay, yeah. There's no telling.
Me and Garden City have a little rivalry going on.
Oh, do you?
I went to Fort Scott Community College for a year.
A year.
Yeah, then transferred out of there.
Gotcha.
And we were 11-1, and they beat us, knocked us out of the national championship.
So they're kind of like your Ohio State.
Yeah.
But I see Gunner winning the starting job. Now, will he keep it? Time will tell. I mean, but that's...
Well, let me ask you this. How can he lose it? Besides losing, 3, 4, 5 games in a row.
I don't see him... He's not going to get... He won't get the opportunity to lose 3 or 4 or 5 games in a row.
You don't think so?
There's no way. I mean, if he comes in first game against Central Michigan and just plays lights out, is like the ultimate field general. I mean, completely takes control of that offense and plays great. Yeah, he'll start game 2 against Florida, but if he comes out against Florida and we're down 21-28 at half and he's thrown a couple picks and doesn't look sharp and you can just tell it's just flustered. I mean, if you're down 21-28 points to Florida in Gainesville at the Swamp
at night,
you should go ahead and chalk that up as a loss. So why not throw in Terry and see what he can do in an environment like that? And if he comes in and brings you back within 7, 10, something like that, shows his potential, he starts game 3.
And I don't see that happening. Like, I think Stoops is going to call his starter and write him out.
You think so? Now, do you think his seat is hot enough that he has that opportunity to do that? That is a coaching option to him.
So you saying that if Gunnar Hoke starts and he rides him out and he just has a mediocre season, do you think they'll fire him? Type thing, that what you're asking?
Yeah, with the team that he has. Bear in mind that this is, I mean, we aren't just the only people that say that this is the best 22 he's had since he's been in Lexington.
He has said it himself.
He has said it himself. Yeah. All his other coaches have said it themselves.
Mosquitoes.
A lot of people, I mean, a lot of sports writers here in Lexington, in Louisville, in Kentucky in general, have said the same thing. That's why people are actually excited about Kentucky football this year. I think if he comes out and he doesn't, especially quarterback play, man, because we don't know. We literally do not know what any of these guys can do. Yeah, we've seen glimpses of Gunnar last year, but not enough to make a determination on who's gonna be what.
I think that whoever doesn't start, and if Stoops rides him out throughout the year, that non-starter is going to transfer. Bold statement.
Bold statement.
Because they are both sophomores,
right? So they've got 2 more years of eligibility.
Maybe 3, depending on the redshirt situation. Judging by the depth chart, it doesn't look like any of them have been redshirted. Because usually they have a little redshirt symbol by them or whatever. I'm sorry. So Gunnar Hoke is a redshirt sophomore, but Terry is a true sophomore.
Yep.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if Mark Stoops ride outs with like one guy all year, and that other guy doesn't have a chance to compete for a starting job, that other guy's going to transfer out.
I can see that happening.
It just makes sense because Terry Wilson he's already transferred from Oregon here,
right.
So who's to say? Well, like if I'm not going to start, I'm from Oregon. I can transfer to another Division I college,
right,
like
because he's probably thinking. I mean,
yeah,
he's probably thinking. I played a year at Oregon. I mean, he didn't play, but he spent a year at Oregon, which is a pretty well-known football school.
They used to be the school, you know,
and that he could come to a school like Kentucky that's we're not really known for our football,
right?
And he should be able to start immediately. If he doesn't get that opportunity, I could totally see him transferring.
Oklahoma's looking for a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean,
he is from Oklahoma City.
He is.
So, I mean, that's just a bold statement. I mean, now the competitor in me says, well, you need to stay this summer and spring and earn that spot.
Right, earn that spot. You're gonna.
Yeah, but
you will take it for less granted. I mean,
but he's shown that Terry touchdown Terry has shown that he will transfer.
Right.
If something. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the situation in Oregon. I don't follow Oregon. They're out west. They're right now. There it's only 4:30 in the afternoon, and we're getting ready for like bed.
Right.
So,
but honestly, man, I would like to see if that were the situation to happen. I would like to see him stay because that shows you that A, his character, and 2, that he's patient.
Yeah, but if he feels he's a NFL quality quarterback, you need to get that film. And
I get that.
And if they're both sophomores, one of them's not going to get. One of them's just going to rot on the bench for their final 3 years. Right. Honestly.
Right.
So, but that's just a bold statement.
Time will tell, man. Time will tell.
So, next year, 2019 football season, all these sophomores become juniors.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the year that we take the SEC?
No. No, we do not take the SEC.
Why not?
At all. I mean, come on, man. There's no way.
Why?
For us to take the SEC this year. I mean, let's
No, not this year. 2019.
Next year?
When all these sophomores on the offense become juniors, Snell becomes a senior.
If Snell stays.
If Snell stays.
If Snell stays and we get a legitimate like superstar quarterback in either Gunner or Terry, I mean, I don't want to say no and never. I mean, there's never, but I mean, you've still got to play with the likes of Georgia. You've still got to play with the likes of Alabama.
Trash.
You've still got to play Texas A&M.
Trash.
Florida.
Trash.
I mean, honestly, man, I think this year, if we could get by Florida, get by Mississippi State, we're going to beat South Carolina. If we could beat Texas A&M, that's a home game for them, I believe, at Texas A&M.
Yep.
Yeah. Beat them at home. We might have a shot at Georgia, depending on how well we show against Georgia. I mean, we could lose by maybe 7-10, maybe 3 if we're lucky. That's going to open a lot of people's eyes. But then again, by the time we get to that Georgia game, I mean, and we've beaten everybody but maybe lost a game, and we're ranked in the top 25, I think that puts a little bit of a chip on our shoulder, and we play that much harder. That is a home game for us, that Georgia game.
Well,
I could see that being a primetime game if we can get by Missouri, Texas A&M, and Florida. Man, I still believe we're going to beat Florida.
Hey,
I believe it, man. I think
I love your positive attitude.
That we snap that stupid streak against that Florida team. I think we get it done this year in the swamp.
In the swamp.
I think we get it done.
But until then, 10 days until kickoff.
10 days.
10 days. Join us next week on Big Blue Breakdown as we get answers of who's starting quarterback. We get answers of is this over-under is going to go down even more. And then we'll make our final predictions next week of actual scores and picks, and we'll kind of keep a little tally.
Gotcha.
And then as we wrap up the show, look who decides to walk in.
The man, the myth, the legend, the beard.
Matthew Lyle.
Hey, I love that shirt, by the way. You want to trade shirts? Did you trim the beard? Did you get a haircut? I did. This guy's
he's looking. Matthew, welcome to the show, man.
What's up? Are we live?
Yeah, we're live, man.
Cool stuff.
Go ahead and roll up in there and say what's up.
We're talking Kentucky football, buddy.
Really?
Yeah. Now, who do you
It's almost as if that was my plan.
Yeah. Now, who do
We
you?
really are live. I don't want to look like an idiot talking from this
we
microphone.
absolutely are.
I'm fine if we are. I just don't look like an idiot talking from a microphone and we're just kicking.
We were actually getting ready to end the show, but go ahead.
Well, you're the one who told me to come on over. I figured you were about to wrap it up.
Hey, I figured you would be here on time, but hey.
You're here.
Now they're here.
I think we keep the wheels rolling.
Yeah, the show's going to go another hour, 5 hours.
Hey.
You know me.
We're down for whatever.
I am down for that.
So, since Matthew's just joined us here, Chris and myself picked the Central Michigan and the Kentucky game with the over/under. Current over/under is 17 points. So Central Michigan plus 17.
I hate to say it, I'm taking Central Michigan.
That's what I said.
You got to hear what they're projecting the score to be.
So
I don't care.
So you are taking Central Michigan plus 17?
Yeah, earlier in the game, Kentucky team still trying to figure out how they are. No quarterback. The last 3 seasons they've never played an exact. I don't say never. They haven't played a complete game from kickoff to final zeros, however you want to word that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Central Michigan's. This isn't Murray State. This isn't the. There's another game there down that stretch. I think that's a.
That would be that Louisville team.
Western Kentucky. Was it the Western Kentucky game?
I'm drawing a blank.
Just
look it up real quick.
The Cupcake games we've got?
Middle Tennessee State. Which actually Middle Tennessee State might be pretty nice. But
weren't they ranked 20th last year? Yeah.
Last year, we played Eastern Michigan. Came down to the wire. A couple years ago, played Eastern Kentucky back-to-back years. One year they almost beat us, took them to overtime. Yep. So, look, we're going to get a win. I'm very confident in that. But to cover 17, first game of the season, I'll take money on that. I'll take Central Michigan on that. It would hurt me because I can only root for Kentucky so long. Like if they came out the gate hot, I can only root for them for a half before I'm like, pump the brakes, guys.
Well, hey, put it in those freshmen.
Hey, where's them walk-ons you talk so highly about?
Put that second team in there. I need to win some money.
No, I'm with Mike on that one. To give me Central Michigan in the points. Now, if you want to talk that Murray State game, I'll take almost whatever you'll give me later on.
So I actually took Kentucky with the plus 17. I have them coming out all guns blazing. It'd be like a 44-18 game.
Really?
Yeah, I just have faith in the first game of the year.
Well,
they've
Stoops,
heard all this talk about this is the best team Stoops has ever put on the field.
Yeah, Stoops is on the
We're
record.
going to show it.
Unfortunately, I just think this is the toughest schedule. And that don't have anything to do with the Central Michigan game because it's just one team and it's a lesser. So it very well may be. I'm just scared. We talked about this last show. I'm scared and a little bit disappointed that the quarterback just hasn't jumped out and said, "Look at me, I'm here to tear it up." If he was tearing up, and maybe it could be the exact opposite. Maybe it's one of those years where the preseason is just full of ho-hum and poutiness, and then he just comes in game one and throws 8 touchdowns, against Central Michigan. Then comes in against Florida, puts up 4 rushing touchdowns, just scramble, almost like a Johnny Manziel entrance, and then Murray State just lights it up, and then we're good to go. It could very well be that. I mean, I remember he didn't pan out. So he didn't pan out and he did pan out, but do you remember when Trey Burton was at Florida? Mm-hmm. He had 6 rushing touchdowns against us at quarterback.
Right.
So I would love that kind of game. He'd come out, sling the rock everywhere this
Wait,
game.
Who are you referring to, Hoke or Terry?
Terry.
Okay.
I think Hoke.
So as
Here's my thing. If
of
Hoke-
today, they have Gunnar Hoke as starting quarterback on
They're
the
going to
depth
make
chart.
the official announcement Monday.
Yeah, but saying as
yeah.
of today on the depth chart, they have Gunnar Hoke as quarterback.
I don't know how I feel about that, brother. But, I mean, I'll support whoever because obviously the coaching staff's there making that decision.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, they see him every day in and out.
Yeah.
They've seen off-season workouts,
We
etc.
touched on this last time. Gunnar Hoke, the offensive coordinator, recruited Gunnar Hoke when he was at Cincinnati. So. But Cincinnati is a different animal. Cincinnati, and I'm not saying they're a powerhouse by any means, but they're in the Big 12's little brother.
Oh.
Where it's all offense, no defense.
Right.
They took the Big 12's mindset. I don't want to mean they can compete with the Big 12, but
SEC can't compete with the Big 12.
oh, get out of here, get out of here. But what I was saying is like the Cincinnati teams, they like to get out there with those Central Michigan teams and those Western Michigan teams and just go 5 wide. Western Kentucky's really a good example.
Yeah.
They've sent 2 quarterbacks, a tight end, and a wide receiver to the NFL off just going 5 wide and slinging it everywhere.
So,
Do they run the same offense up there in Cincinnati that we do?
I'd assume so, since the offensive coordinator came from Cincinnati.
Yeah,
right?
you typically, unless you're, it's a rarity for there to be such a big change. Like example, when they replace the guy down at Georgia Tech who runs that triple option, I doubt they're going to bring in a 5 wide run and gun guy. I mean, they might get desperate and say, you know what? But here's the thing: remember when Michigan did this? Michigan went from 5 wide rich wide. No, they went from I formation of that.
We went from pro style offense with Chad Henne
to
and
5
Lloyd
wide
to
and
the spread with Rich Rod.
You had Ryan Mallett back there who was like a sitting duck in that read option.
Yep, and
So
that's why he transferred.
It's tough to make a big change. Now, if you want to do it slowly and increment it like that,
well, the reason why it is so tough is because you are recruiting players to play in your triple option offense or your spread offense. So when you bring in a new offensive of coordinator, he has his guys that he wants, but at the end of the day, he still needs this 6'5" receiver on the outside. He needs a fullback that's 5'2", 285 pounds.
Who was the first offensive coordinator we had under Mark Stoops? The guy that's down at Southern Mississippi. He was a disciple of.
Didn't Hal Brooks hire him? Didn't he?
No, it wasn't Brooks. He was under Hal Mumm.
Oh, he was under Coach Money.
I think so.
Is he the offensive coordinator over there?
Yeah, who's the offensive coordinator at Southern Miss?
Yeah, I'm Southern Miss or Mississippi State.
Southern Miss.
Oh, he's at Southern Miss.
Okay.
Is it Eddie Grant? No, it's not Eddie Grant. That's their guy now.
one of them
I'm
Mississippi
picturing he was a
schools.
young guy. He was the guy. He came and he wanted to go run and gun. He wanted to bring back what Tim Couch did, but he just didn't have the weapons.
Nope.
I think he's Southern Mississippi's offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
All right, but anyway, that kind of fits the same mode. He came in with a great, he wanted to bring back air raid. They brought back the horn, every time we slung a touchdown, but we just didn't have the quarterback.
Nope.
We had the transfer, number 3. He did all right against Florida that first year, but I'm drawing a blank on his name as well, but yeah, it's just tough to overhaul like that.
I see Gunner having the starting job, no problem.
Gunner Hoke starting, and Matthew Lyle has touchdown Terry, huh?
I mean, like I said, I have nothing against Gunner,
And that's only because he has been in this office that long.
I just got so much hope that if it's going to be a change, it's going to
Start with Terry.
Yeah, it's going to come with that big. Oh, I found it. Where's the coach?
You guys have no idea how hard it is to find a
Google
coaching
is broke
staff.
right now. That would be nice, though, man.
No, was it Shannon Dawson?
That does sound familiar. Dawson.
Here, I just got to go through Kentucky football. What year was Mark Stoops' first year? 2013?
No, I think it was 2012.
So he's been here for 7
No.
years, hasn't he?
Yeah, 13.
Mark Stoops'
Well,
first
7
year.
years.
Yep. Neil Brown. Neil Brown is
Neil
it.
Brown.
Where's Neil Brown at then? If that's the case, if I'm that way, because he's not there anymore. They got Shannon Dawson. Neil Brown is he's the head coach of Troy.
Okay, he's in Alabama.
Well, there you go, Neil Brown. Correct.
You know, he looks a lot like Lane Kiffin.
Who, Neil Brown?
Yeah.
Is that Lane Kiffin?
I think you're just thinking the
Doppelganger?
young guy with the visor look.
And no,
Yeah.
like look at this picture of him in
On
the
the Wikipedia?
like
That one right there?
like in the Troy, like he's
He does.
he's a spitting image of Lane
He
Kiffin.
kind of does.
So, I don't know what all you guys have touched on today.
What do you want to discuss, Matthew? Bring it
So
up.
I got into a little friendly debate today.
Oh,
so
no.
apparently, and
Matthew
I
and
don't know,
debates?
I don't know
No.
how,
Not this guy.
I don't know how accurate this stat is, but I'll tell you the stat that it was told to me, and I'll tell you the point that I made on why this guy was wrong. Apparently, Kentucky, somewhere along the line in football, is favorites to be the first college football team this year to rush the field. And I say no. Our schedule does not lend itself to that.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so
if Florida was a home game
but
and we won
we're
that
not
game,
rushing
yes.
the field at Gainesville.
No,
we're not rushing the
absolutely
field
not.
against Central Michigan, Murray
No,
State.
no.
We've beat South Carolina and Mississippi State here recently, where we're not rushing the field. We got Missouri on the road, not rushing the field. Texas A&M on the road, not rushing the field. If we beat Georgia, but by then you're in week 9 of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Surely there's already been an upset. If there's not been an upset by week 9,
It's been a boring
fair
season.
to say nobody's probably going to rush the field.
Oh yeah.
No, well, and I think the NCAA has passed this rule that if you rush the field, something happens. Like you have to forfeit a win or forfeit some
And there's
types
like a
of.
big fine.
Yeah, yeah,
I know there's a
but-
fine, but the
yeah.
fans don't care.
No,
well,
they don't.
well, the student body will care, and they'll bring extra security if that ever happens. Yeah.
I mean, but I think Kentucky's past that. I mean, not that I'm not saying that they wouldn't, but I think it's time to move on from that. I mean, we've gotten some wins. You know, in 07 we beat the number 1 team in the country. In
Yes, we
08 we
did.
competed with the number 1 team in the country.
So
We beat Louisville when they were in top 10 here recently. I mean, you just kind of. I think there's a point as a program you move on from that.
well, and say week 9 happens, we beat Georgia, and it's a 6-point game. All those fans that would quote unquote storm the court, they're in basketball mode.
Now, look.
Let's be honest.
If we beat Georgia by like a field goal in the last seconds, then they're bum rushing the field.
You
I
you
totally
think so?
see that happen. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Over
If we
over, under.
ruin Georgia's, you want over under on that one?
Yeah.
You want a piece of that action?
I do.
Well, I guess a lot has to be said on the season.
Yeah.
Right.
If we're 2-9,
Right.
or I guess that would be the 9th game of the season. If we're 2-7 and they're 9-0, yes.
Oh yeah.
If we're 8-1, 4-2, I don't think so. Or 6-2, whatever the record would be. I don't think so. I think we're at that point. You hope because at that point you've held yourself to a standard.
Yeah. If it is a 6-2, you have to walk around like you've been there, done
Right,
that.
exactly. Because you have to prepare yourself that you're 6-2.
We are
Georgia's going to put you 7-2.
we are expecting to win
Middle
this game.
Tennessee State's going to put you at 8-2.
And that would throw
Tennessee
you.
and Louisville has 10. You have a chance if you beat Georgia. Realistically, if we're 6-2, and let's just say we've lost at home to Florida and at road to Texas A&M, or on the road to Florida and Texas A&M, you would have to say there's somewhat a viable chance.
You're ranked for one.
We're ranked definitely.
Yeah.
We're getting to the SEC championship
And
depending
then
on
we-
what happens to Florida.
and
Because
then-
Right.
we beat Georgia. We have Tennessee and Louisville and Middle Tennessee State stopping us.
Right. So we
from
could
10 wins.
and we could go undefeated at home.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, I think like you do, Mike, at that point, I would – look, I'm not saying – obviously you can't control what fans do. I mean, shoot, Philadelphia Eagles, they tore down the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Not just the stadium, but it didn't rush.
Yeah,
But
what kind
I
of celebration is that?
I personally would be disappointed if we rushed the field if we were in that good of standing.
Yeah. So, what did this guy say? Like, did he say like there were just going to be no other upsets, or
he just did that illogical conversation that Kentucky's trash at football and you're so trash you celebrate anything.
So
water
and I'm
cooler
like, I
talk.
get it. No, I'm not arguing with
Right.
those
Yeah.
facts. We do struggle and we do have to manufacture things to be hyped about.
struggle? But we've been above 500 team the last 3 or 4 years.
Right?
So
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
we are not the Kansas and haven't
well,
won
we're
a
still-
game versus
I
a
get
double
it.
A
You know,
college
we
in
have
15
to
years.
manufacture things to be excited about. We have to manufacture things to get
Yeah.
butts in the seats,
Right,
as you like to
right.
word it. But I don't think we're to the point where we're going to rush the field over beating South Carolina. We're not going to rush the field over beating Mississippi State. We're not going to we're not even going to rush the field over beating Tennessee because we beat them last year.
Right.
Well, that'd be the same thing with South Carolina. I mean, we
Well,
beat
South
we beat
Carolina we beat them the last 4 years. So,
yeah last 4 years.
like that's old hat now.
Right. Been there, done that. Got
Yeah.
the T-shirt.
So let's talk about some other things that I hear on some other places talking about sports. How do y'all feel about SEC allowing alcohol sales at stadiums?
Is that official?
No, they're not.
Okay.
They're leaning from it, but how would you feel if that like, are you for that or
Like,
against it?
you want my honest opinion?
Do it, Chris. Chris Hill.
All right, here's Chris Hill's honest opinion about booze.
Let's get that soapbox out. Do it.
No, you don't have to because it will not take long. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if I can speak about you guys or anyone else for that matter. But me, I love watching a game with a cold beer in my hand. I would love it even more to be there with a cold beer in my hand.
Right.
I don't see how it should be an issue.
Well, let me get out my soapbox, Chris.
I don't.
Mike,
All it's going to do. I mean, it's really it would increase revenue.
Well,
don't you think?
after you voice yours, and I don't know where you're going on this, but do what you do best after this. Play devil's advocate. Bring
will.
the negative Nelly because I want to see.
Here comes
because
negative Nancy.
This is the fun. I don't know if you call it fun when you're dealing with this, but this is the conversation because I think. And the next thing I have to bring up, I think you might be able to play devil's advocate unless you're absolutely passionate about it. You might be able to play a little devil's advocate because I don't think people who are for it think about the downsides. And the people who are like, meh, never, I don't think they think it through. I think that everything's going to be the worst.
Right.
That the parking lot's going to look like Thunderdome. So,
Okay, well,
So what you got, Mike?
Let me get out my soapbox. I am the exact opposite, Chris, okay? So, I go to college games, I tailgate, I drink in the parking lot, I have hot dogs, chips, etc. When you are going into a college game, these are college kids. Most of them are underneath 21 years of age for one.
And most of them are already hammered by the time.
But the still stands. Most of them are underneath the 21 years of age. The
Gotcha.
players are, and you want a family atmosphere when you are recruiting kids. You are recruiting 17, 18-year-old kids. If there are drunk slosh guys in the stadium, me as a parent, I'll be like, I don't think I want you to come to the school, buddy. Because if it's that easy to get alcohol, I mean, we've all been underneath 21. It is easy to get alcohol like underage,
I was
right?
going to say, honestly,
Yes.
if you want the beer bad enough there, you're going to find a way to get it in.
Exactly.
You're going to find a way.
So having the alcohol at the stadium is just another avenue for those underage kids to get the alcohol that they want. And then you run into I'm bringing my family to these games.
I mean,
I'm bringing this to the game. Do I really want my 16-year-old kid getting slosh drunk?
Right.
No.
I understand that. I completely understand that.
what is your thoughts then, Mike? Because very valid points.
My thoughts are we do not need alcohol sales at the college games. Yes, it will increase revenue. Yes, it will increase crowd interaction. It will also increase the chance for college students fighting, et cetera, et cetera.
Two questions for you.
Go ahead, Matthew
So
Lyle.
if I'm on your seat with this, if I'm on your that's how I'm going to play this. I've asked the question. You presented two different arguments. Chris, I get what you're saying. Mike, I get what you're saying too. It's a college atmosphere, and even though I do not agree with the NCAA hiding behind amateurism,
yes, that's a story for a different day.
The age does not change. They are underage kids.
Uh-huh.
What is your thoughts though? Up in those rich people booths, they can buy alcohol. In the press box and SEC, they can buy alcohol.
Oh,
It can only be brought to their booth. Though.
Yes. Yes.
Do you think your SEC commissioner, Mike Buckheiser, you've already said you're not going to allow it to be stadium wide?
Correct.
Do you say, well, if the poor people up above me and the people who got these sideline seats, if they can't have it, Mr. Booster in the press box, who might have his family and kids too. Now, granted, your family and kids more than likely will not be in there with him.
Correct.
But his family, it very likely could be minors just as well.
Mr. Booster is supporting the football team. He has given me millions of dollars to sit in that box.
I don't know anything about Mike when it comes to other than sports, but I'm going to go he's Republican right there because that just seems like a Republican answer. Like,
he
Mr.
can do
Rich Man.
well, mean like, I am a booster to this college. I'm giving you millions of dollars of my hard-earned money to sit in this box and enjoy a game. If I want a cocktail, I'm going to drink a cocktail. If I want a beer, I want a beer. But now, if that school says no, there's another college half hour down the street that would love my $2 million.
Let's just bring it in. The SEC rule, not football rule, just SEC rule.
Okay.
I don't agree, but I'm with you. We're on the same boat. We're not showing in the same direction, but we're on the same boat.
Our rows are rowing at different speeds.
He's upstairs. He's in his press box. He gets to pick who's in his press box. That's fine. I get that. Well, does Mr. Rich Booster, same thing stands, donating millions, doing everything. Do you feel the same when basketball season rolls around and he's courtside next to Dick Vitale, even closer to these underage kids, and you and your family is right behind him, and now when Mr. Rich Booster gets drunk and belligerent, he's not protected by his fancy booth.
Right.
He's, Calipari, put him in. You know,
Yeah.
It's kind of a different animal.
Do you change it then? I mean, it's still the same guy donating his millions.
Right.
Do you have a problem then?
So, I have a problem because it is at the end of the day, it is all about it is the image. So, take a NBA game for example. We've all seen that drunk rich guy sitting right behind the bench,
his beer
right,
up,
right.
Jack Nicholson.
Like that gives them that bad perspective. Like, I don't want to go to that game because I don't want to run to that guy. Like whatever. So, as far as beer and basketball, that's got to be out. I mean, you cannot have.
But what is the legit difference?
What is the difference is I am 5 foot away from an 18-year-old kid.
So how do you word that then? Do you word it as you would at a bar? No drinks in public atmosphere? Because in theory, a booth would be private.
Right.
I would say it has to be X amount of feet from the playing surface. So say you're in a press box, it has to be 500 feet from the playing surface or something to that effect.
Would you be what if they said we're not going to do that? Well, you can't be in the stadium. But it was Kentucky that built the super expensive and kind of ridiculous little huts that had like a 50-inch TV, 4 recliners, a refrigerator. Would you be acceptable if they built essentially just a party room?
So like a party pit?
Party pit, yep. You're not even in the stadium. You got to be 21 to enter the grounds.
If you're not in the stadium, it totally
void,
it totally voids
it's just like tailgate in the parking lot.
Yeah,
there's no difference.
I was just trying to for your boosters. I'm back to your boosters.
But the boosters, yeah.
You got to do something to make them feel important. Like
you're
here,
yeah.
you put your millions. So tailgating or an RV is not going to cut it. Yeah. Like this has to be a condo-like atmosphere, like maybe even overlooking the stadium. Like where they can walk over on their 25th floor and see the game and see the atmosphere. Because I think everybody thinks, even though I really don't think he agrees with it and I don't really agree with your answer, that's kind of the answer. That's kind of the mindset is the SEC's not going to allow it. but Mr. Rich guy that pads our pocket, who you do not see on TV.
The guy that you don't say no to.
Yeah. Don't most stadiums even aren't they even tinted anymore? You just see like a shadowy like.
It is it's the one-way mirror. So you can see it, but you can't
Unless
see
you're,
it.
Jerry's world, and you want.
Well, that's NFL, so it's a completely different game. But so and that's my thing. I guess that's, even though we don't have to agree with it, that's the mindset of it.
So
you're rich. We're right, and
so I kind of have to retract my statement like a little bit, because after I spilled my little soapbox issue, I'm thinking again here, like if you think about it, if you go to a NFL game,
right,
it's the exact
say you're watching it on TV, you don't see fans.
No,
you very rarely see the fans like it's like it's a quick glimpse. You see more fans in the NBA games, like in the basketball games, like etc. I mean, I've been to several pro games, and we've been fans that are slosh drunk, because you get your $12 beer, like I'm gonna have a great time, right? And the
guy brings it to you. I mean, you don't have to stand in line.
Yeah,
like, bear here.
Yeah. So I think I'm kind of going to the stream of cash flow. I mean, if you sell alcohol, you can make lots of money, obviously.
But that's like I was going to say, I can understand being a parent, you not wanting your kids around that,
yeah,
and underage college students, and that's a whole other side of this that would take us forever to tackle. But I mean, really, what is the difference between a collegiate game and an NFL game?
Well, the difference is the age of the players.
I mean, yeah.
But even so,
but I'm
NFL,
talking atmosphere.
But NBA, I mean, shoot, you may go to a team. Half the
18,
Sacramento Kings are probably under 21.
Yeah.
But I will play devil's advocate to.
But I mean,
to Buck's point.
So
you
wouldn't take your kid to an NFL game?
But you're in a pro atmosphere in the NBA. So, you kind of accept that.
Right.
Yeah, so
comes with the
if you are going to a professional game, it's kind of almost what's the word I'm looking for? It's expected. I mean, it is expected that you walk into that
what stadium you go to.
The funny part of it is, and this just kind of goes with those things in life, where if it fits the norm, if it fits just life, we're fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
If I had a kid, and I don't, so I can't speak to it. Maybe Mike can chime in on this.
You want to borrow one?
And I had no, thank you. And I had two options. Option A, you're taking me to. I'm going to be surrounded by drunk people, but they're a bunch of silly frat boys. They got their chest all painted up, silly colors. They're cracking up, saying whatever cool sayings kids say these days.
You're going ham on that guy.
Yeah, what are those? Yeah, holler out. Or option B, you're surrounded by 40 and 50-year-old drunk men who, for some reason, seem much more apt to fight.
You're right, because I can
seem much more apt to take. I've been to college games, and when two fan bases sit next to each other, it's like they're making fun of each other, but in a young college kid way.
Right.
You see two NFL. I went to the Colts-Browns game. Could not have been a trashier game. The Browns fans were picking on some little kid, making really bad references
like they
to
were
his
Raiders
mom.
Fans.
And then, a Colts fan ended up throwing a beer at a Browns fan. I mean, things that it didn't come to blows, but yes, like Raiders fans.
So, Chris, you can go ahead and answer that question first. Would you rather go to a drunk college game or a drunk professional game with you and your kids?
Can I pick the teams I'm going to see?
No,
it's just a college.
Yeah, just a college.
Just any college.
Yeah, like you got free tickets.
Yeah,
free tickets.
Let's just make it random. You're on business and
you are watching a USC Nebraska game.
You see a Pac-12 game.
I don't want to see any team in Arizona.
An NFC West game. It's just random game, free tickets.
It'd have to be a professional game.
So you
depending on
no.
Now look, if somebody's going to hand me free tickets to go watch Michigan play at the Big House, I'm taking that all day long.
No, this is random. You have no preference. The seats are god awful. You're around the worst of fans. But you get the worst. You get the worst case of each scale.
Right.
You get belligerent, drunk, annoying teenagers who mean no harm, but man, they're annoying. Or you get belligerent, drunk adults that you might take an elbow to the face, not aimed directly at you.
Yeah.
But if a 455-pound guy swings at a 300-pound guy, when the stadiums are at a almost perfect up and down angle, it could get ugly.
I'm taking college.
Taking college?
Yeah, I'm taking college. I mean, because look, man, when I was growing up, my dad, we would always go to Louisville games. We'd seldom, every once in a while, go to a Kentucky game, but normally it was a lot of Louisville games because where he worked, he would get free tickets all the time. I mean, this is like back in the day when they played at Old Cardinal Stadium, like a long time ago. I enjoyed those games just as much as when he would take me to see the Bengals play, and I got to see the Broncos in 1998 put a beat down on the Bengals, and it was so bad I was like the only person in a John Elway jersey within a like 300-foot radius, and I was scared to death. I'm not gonna lie, I was scared to death. So scared, in fact, that we left like midway through the third quarter because it got pretty ugly. But then again, I mean, that's Ohio sports fans for you, period. But I'd rather take a collegiate game. I could handle little punks better than a 40-year-old 400-pound guy.
If I'm taking, say my son is now 8 or 9 years old, he's starting to understand football like a little bit. I am going to take him to a college game first in general
to see if he.
I don't care if they're drunk, sober, high. It doesn't matter. Just because the college atmosphere is so much more welcoming than an NFL atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
I get that.
Because of the NFL players, they have those passionate fans. They have those I am riding till my wheels fall off type fans, And in college, you're like, well, like my team's fine, but I'm still going to go to the games and cheer and have a good time, whatever. So college, 100% drunk, sober, it doesn't matter.
What say you? What are you taking? You taking college?
I'm with
game or
Mike.
poker?
I mean, the fan base, it is just much more fun in a college atmosphere.
A college
Because
football
I
atmosphere
think
cannot be matched.
No matter how old you are, you feel young at a college game.
Right.
And no matter how young you are, you feel old at an NFL game.
Yeah.
Because I went, and I've not been to a lot. I've not been up there with some of these guys who are season ticket holders. But you go to a college game, it's just optimism.
Mm-hmm.
You're just up there, and the kid's drunk or not.
Next year will be awesome.
Or you look to the right, and it's an old guy, and he's just remembering the good old days. NFL, it's always negativity.
I hate the Raiders. I hate the Rams.
Either you're horrible, they're horrible, we're all horrible, or man, my fan. Even if it's down to just your fantasy team, like it's always negativity. Now I'm not saying it's every fan because college football has negative fans and the pros have fun fans.
We are stereotyping.
Yes, but
it is the majority.
Yeah, majority rules, absolutely. This is not Kentucky, but breaking news just came through. Urban Meyer is suspended.
I just got that too. 3 games.
Not fired.
Whatever.
Suspended.
Fire him now.
Shocked, Mike? You're pretty solid that he might get fired.
I wouldn't say shocked because of how long it took.
Why did it take this long?
Because they were trying to figure out how many games they're going to suspend him. I mean, like if they were to fire him as soon as that information about Zach Smith's DUI and sex toys and taking nude selfies at the president.
Dude,
like
anyone else, any other coach would do this. They're get fired. Now, do you think
Urban Meyer didn't do anything? He just did not report it to the proper authorities.
But still, I mean that is not doing something.
I don't know.
Am I
surprised?
What kind of message are you sending to your players, to young recruits?
So, don't get caught.
Let me tell you.
But still,
don't get caught.
That's obviously an Ohio State thing, man. Like, how can these people up there keep doing shit like this and still get away with it?
Let me tell you the negative impact that this had. Urban Meyer will have to miss week 1 when his Ohio State takes on the powerhouse Oregon State.
Cupcake.
He'll have to miss week 2 when they play their first conference game against Rutgers.
Cupcake.
He does have a bit of a difficult one that I would consider it growing. A growing pain for the coaches is they have to play number 16 TCU on the road.
That should be a solid game. TCU, yeah, that's.
I think it'll be good for. I think they'll win, but it'll be good for the coaches.
Oh no, man! I hope that comes back to bite him in the ass.
Then he comes back against top-ranked Tulane.
Oh, yeah. They have a tough schedule.
And then
they never.
Then he does. All jokes aside, at the second game he's back, it's at Penn State, number 10, and then IU, Minnesota, Purdue, Nebraska. Then they got Michigan State, Maryland, Michigan after the season. So I'm not surprised by this.
I am. I'm shocked.
Only thing that doesn't surprise me.
I'm shocked, man. He should have been fired.
Wasn't 2 games. Didn't want him back with that TCU, but I think that would maybe be the selling point.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're not letting him off easy. We're missing our opening game.
We're going to be stern and give him three games, so we might go 2-1 during that span.
Should have been 5.
Which it's all, as we've talked on other shows, Mike. If you're going to lose in that first 3 weeks.
Exactly.
Get to bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Another thing I want to hear you guys' opinion on.
It's all about trending up toward the end of the season.
Sports gambling in the state of Indiana and Kentucky. For it or against it, Chris, go. You can go down to the boat. You can go down to some place in Louisville, that new Derby City Gaming.
Isn't there? Can't people bet on horses and stuff around here?
Yeah, but
At
that's
the
not
Derby
gaming.
City Gaming Center. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, when I'm talking, you can walk in
And that
say
brings,
put me $20 on Cats in 17. You for it or against it?
I'm for it only because of the cash flow it would bring in.
At the
that's
end of the
thing.
day, it is all about making money.
Absolutely.
Louisville needs money to bring in a professional team.
So here's the thing.
I was going to say, and maybe that opens up more avenues to other
This
things.
is what, Mike, you're not a Kentucky resident, you know. I mean, I know you live here, but your license is Indiana, right?
I've never lived in the state of Kentucky.
Well,
yeah.
that's fine. You can answer like that.
Yeah.
You are a resident of Kentucky, aren't you?
Absolutely.
So up until the last 5 years, I was a resident of Kentucky. Kentucky is in a rough position right now. And I'm not saying they're in the worst of positions, because Kentucky comes out, and whoever's listening to this, I hope they don't get offended at any time during this show.
I hope you do. Take it the wrong way.
And please do.
Comment below of how inconsiderate Matthew's being.
There he
right
goes,
now.
stirring the pot again.
Kentucky, given its geographical location, tends to be almost like we were with the alcohol
In
at our
prohibition.
sporting. It's okay for pros, not okay at college.
Yeah.
Okay for rich adults, not okay around kids.
It's okay to make bourbon here, but not bring it in.
Exactly. It's okay to make bourbon in Kentucky, but it better not be any other cash crop. It's okay to bet on horses. It's okay to get my good old scratch off with my pack of cigarettes.
That's another thing
It's-
with the lottery.
I get
that's-
there ain't nothing wrong with my scratch offs with my Marlboros.
Yeah.
But don't you bring that sports betting in?
But the lottery's paying for school, so
Absolutely.
And you mean to say,
It's
tell me
okay.
that some of the profit? I'm not saying everybody needs to go to school,
No.
but you mean that this profit ain't gonna be? But here's why I think, and I'm just saying this because I'm centralized in Kentucky. I'm around this area. This is why I think Kentucky has the short end of the stick and needs to act now.
exactly.
Indiana's already shown they're progressive by having the boat. All Indiana has to do is say, yeah, we'll allow it in a big city like Indianapolis, Fort Wayne.
They can do it they can add a floor onto the boat and be like, exactly.
All
This
you
is
have to do, man, you know how great it would be to be sitting there where that little bar is, where they got all the TVs.
Right.
Walk up and say, give me 20 points on the cow.
Have you ever been to Las Vegas?
I have not.
Well, me and my wife went on a honeymoon trip there, and we were in the rock. Like we stayed in the Hard Rock. They have a lounge, 30, 40 stadium chairs, hundreds of TVs on the wall, and they have computer screens on the chairs. And you can be like, I want to bet
It's
this game. This
basically
game,
like
this
playing
game, this
video
game.
poker.
Just imagine how this would be. Sitting down at a screen, and maybe that's what they do in Vegas, but
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, once this hits nationwide, all the possibilities. You sit down.
Is it a nationwide possibility, or is each
state
state got it?
state.
Okay.
Each state by state.
Okay.
So imagine going down here to the boat, sitting down. Somebody brings you a little beer. Got the game on, huge TV. You got a little iPad or a little laptop there in front of you. It's give me two teams: Cowboys versus Chiefs. I want to put $20 on the Chiefs. Game starts off. Poof. Little prop bet. Boop. Do you think this is $10? Do you think this will be a first down? Yes. Bing.
Yep.
Do you think they'll score on this drive? $5. Boop. Lost.
Yeah.
How long do you think this halftime will last? 15 minutes. 20 minutes. Lost. You know, just things like that. Before you know it, you're having a blast. You're loving the game. You might have won a couple hundred. You may have lost a couple hundred.
Yeah.
That's going to be so great. But the reason I think Kentucky's hurting, Tennessee's very progressive, too, in its own way with some of the things like with alcohol and stuff. I could see Tennessee with Nashville and some of those bigger cities and pro teams getting it. So now you got – so Louisville, for example. You made a great example for Louisville. If Louisville don't get on it, they're just going to come across the river.
Exactly.
If Lexington doesn't get on it,
I want to pay that $2 and cross the bridge.
I imagine if I had to pick in this area, it'll be Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee gets it first.
I don't
So
know
now
anything
Kentucky's-
about Ohio, but I think Indiana will.
Well, I just
definitely
think
be the,
I just think
Yeah.
states with pro teams are going to go for it because just think how interactive it gets.
Well,
Your
that-
stadium now, everything we talked about. Imagine doing that in a stadium.
Exactly.
Is this going to be is this going like you got your phone, nice little app, and you got maybe got your little card on there.
Mm-hmm.
Is this next play going to be a pass or run? Bet $1. Just think how fun that would be.
Yeah.
You think fantasy football took it away? What's this?
Yeah, this is just gonna blow it out of the water.
Tennessee's got tons of pro teams. Since Indiana's got a couple in Indianapolis. Ohio's got Cincinnati, Cleveland, Columbus. If you're into hockey, Kentucky doesn't. And
Yeah.
if Kentucky's sitting on their hands and waiting for this, guys,
It's going to pass us by.
if you're in Louisville, just hop on over. I don't need to go to Louisville.
Exactly.
You're in Lexington, hit 64 North or whatever it is, West, whatever it is. Hit
Well,
Cincinnati.
Let me be the devil's advocate here, since
Okay.
that's we have online betting now. So what is the difference between going to the boat, driving 45 minutes, or doing it on my computer?
Well, there's not going to be much. But I
Like,
think
exactly.
I think the interaction
Yeah, the
is going
interaction
to
and the atmosphere.
The fact that you can have a boat
Okay.
will probably be. I mean, obviously, I'm not a governor or a board member or anything. I don't know what the boat does for Southern Indiana, but I imagine it's nice.
They bring a lot of revenue because
Didn't they build a bunch of football fields? Isn't that why Floyd Central's so nice? Or one of the football fields around there wasn't that one of the things they promised?
I'm not sure about that.
I heard rumor, and like I said, I don't know.
I'm pretty new. I would say I would say it's probably a school closer to their like a Catholic Providence school
Yeah,
or
could
something,
be.
something like
Maybe
that.
it was probably somebody
Because they just got $12 million turf field
What?
put in over there.
So I mean, I'm just saying, Mike.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm just saying it needs to happen, yes, and then we need to take away the online
Right.
betting so these states can capitalize more on that, on the revenue, sales tax, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, being a Republican from Matt's eyes, I'm not saying I am or not. I would say online betting needs to come down. Boom, cut that crap out. It's all got to be in house. Add the boat, add a professional stadium, whatever. So, I'm all for
not
it.
at the bar.
See, but it's
I would say
Imagine
you can
rolling
do
with
it.
the B-dubs.
reach
You know how
that.
they hand you
Yeah.
that little
Yeah,
iPad?
you can do it
Exactly.
like at
It's like the trivia games you
Maybe
play.
maybe
Yeah,
just
I mean,
like alcohol. And I don't know, maybe you can do it in house to a small degree.
Mm-hmm.
But like alcohol, you just can't walk in anywhere and pop open a beer.
Yeah.
But if in certain areas with certain license, certain training,
Yeah.
certain facilities, you can have a nice beer.
I would say it would need to be governed like they do the Powerball, like how they do those picks every hour, like the what's it called, Kinko or I don't know what it is, whatever it is. Yeah.
That's if you want coffee. That's if you want
Kinko's,
coffee.
Like
guys.
you know, like
What
you
is it? It's a
like
little-
you
I know
like
know what
you.
you're talking about. It's a little green man.
Yeah, you get the little card stock form. You fill in. It's going to be 16, 69, and 45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why can't I think of that? I worked at a casino too, and I cannot think of that game for the life of me right now.
What game?
The game you're talking about.
It's CN or
No,
K,
it's
no,
K.
it's KENO.
Kinko. Now I want to go play it. See, your little
It's Keno.
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 That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Anyways, Kentucky football, 10 days away. Over under, Matthew and Chris are picking Central Michigan. Michael, myself, got Kentucky.
You still see us winning this game, though, right?
Well, yeah, since I'm picking them to
I think he picked.
yeah, I'm
You did,
yeah.
That's right. You did
I think
pick Kentucky.
I'm the only one.
You're the only one that picked
the
Central
took the
Michigan.
money.
Yeah.
I didn't pick Central Michigan to win. I picked them to cover.
Chris,
What do you think the score's going to be for that game? Give me the Matthew Lau
24-14.
24-14.
and next week we'll make it official, and we'll keep like a little running tally between the three of us.
We're going to put it on Facebook because it's not official until you put it on Facebook.
That's fine.
Not official.
That's okay. Anyways, we'll see you guys next week, 7:30, Facebook Live. If you listen to us on Spotify, Apple Tunes, Google Podcasts, etc., give us a ranking of 5 stars. If not, Matthew will be on time. And we out.